Have you ever stopped to think that the reality you're living is an exact reflection of the vibration you're emitting? Many times we desperately try to change what's outside, the circumstances, the people, the situations, without realizing that the true power of transformation lies in what we're projecting internally. Imagine reality as a quantum mirror. It doesn't judge, it doesn't lie. It simply reflects the frequency you're holding. If you feel stuck in repetitive patterns, if life seems stagnant, or if the same unwanted situations keep arising, it's because the reflection you're emitting hasn't changed. But what if I told you that the quantum mirror can be rewritten? What if instead of trying to break the mirror, you could consciously adjust the image it reflects? Today, you're going to discover the Mirror Principle 2.0, an approach that goes beyond mere observation and empowers you to redefine your reality through intentional internal change. Get ready to understand how your mind is constantly programming the reflection you see, and more importantly, how you can begin rewriting that programming right now. What is the Mirror Principle? The evolution of conscious observation. The Mirror Principle goes far beyond the simple notion that the external reality reflects our internal state. It takes us to a deeper level of understanding, where we not only recognize the projection, but also the ability to consciously adjust it. Most people view reality as something fixed, unchangeable, a sealed fate. But in truth, the quantum mirror works entirely differently. It's malleable, dynamic, and responds precisely to the vibration you're sustaining at any given moment. Imagine a regular mirror. It reflects exactly what's in front of it. If you have a tense expression, the mirror doesn't lie. It projects that tension back to you. Now apply this metaphor to quantum reality. What you're emitting vibrationally is what the quantum mirror of reality is projecting. But unlike the physical mirror, the quantum mirror can be adjusted. And that's where the Mirror Principle 2.0 comes in. The traditional version of the Mirror Principle teaches us that the external reality is a direct reflection of our mind and emotional state. However, the 2.0 approach expands this understanding, showing that the reflection is not a fixed destiny. It's merely a temporary snapshot of the dominant vibration. This means that at any moment, we can consciously reprogram the reflection we're emitting. And the key to this is conscious observation. Conscious observation places us in a state of absolute presence. Instead of simply reacting to external circumstances, you begin to ask yourself, what am I projecting right now? What are the thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that are sustaining this reflection? This process of observation puts us in the position of conscious creators rather than passive victims of circumstances. But here's a fundamental detail. Most people are not aware of what they're projecting. They operate on autopilot, repeating mental and emotional patterns without realizing they're sustaining the same old vibration. That's why the quantum mirror keeps reflecting the same image, the same challenges, the same limitations. The evolution of conscious observation begins when you decide to step out of this cycle and start adjusting the reflection from within. Now imagine that the quantum mirror is like a movie screen. The image projected there is just a reflection of the internal real. If you want to change the movie, it's useless to shout at the screen or try to tear it apart. You need to adjust the real, in other words, the internal vibration. This is the essence of the Mirror Principle 2.0, recognizing that reality is a temporary reflection of the sustained frequency, and that by adjusting the frequency, the reflection changes. Identifying the current reflection. What is your reality showing you now? Before you begin rewriting the reflection, it's essential to observe what the mirror of reality is projecting at this very moment. Most people are so caught up in external circumstances that they fail to perceive the direct link between what they're experiencing and the internal vibration they're emitting. However, reality is a clear and precise reflection of the frequency you're sustaining. Everything you're experiencing right now, from relationships, financial situations, health to opportunities or challenges, is being projected from the vibrational screen you're maintaining. To identify the current reflection, it's necessary to take a conscious pause and begin observing attentively. Instead of reacting to external events, ask yourself, What is my reality trying to show me about my vibrational state? This is a powerful exercise because it pulls us out of the role of victims of circumstances and places us in the position of conscious observers. If there are areas of your life that feel stagnant, chaotic, or full of repetition, these are the areas where the mirror is reflecting an old vibrational pattern. Imagine standing before a giant mirror that's projecting all your unspoken emotions, thoughts, and beliefs. In the reflection, you don't just see the physical image, but also the energy you're emanating. If your vibration is filled with fear, insecurity, or frustration, the quantum mirror reflects exactly that. And it doesn't just reflect, it amplifies, attracting situations and circumstances that match that frequency. That's why, if life seems like an endless cycle of similar problems, the truth is that the mirror is simply repeating what you're emitting. Now start observing the areas of your life where the reflection feels most intense. It might be a relationship that's not flowing, a recurring financial pattern, or a constant sense of being blocked. These areas are not accidents or coincidences. They are perfect mirrors of the energy you're sustaining. Ask yourself, if my reality were a mirror, what is it trying to show me about my internal state? This question is crucial because it opens a portal to self-awareness. But here's a critical detail. Identifying the current reflection doesn't mean judging yourself or blaming yourself for what's being projected. On the contrary, it's an invitation to observe without resistance, without immediately trying to change what's being reflected. Because before any rewriting can occur, you must first clearly understand what's being projected and why. The more conscious you become of the current reflection, the easier it will be to identify the vibrational patterns sustaining that projection. Imagine, for example, someone who is constantly facing conflicts in relationships. If they simply observe the mirror of reality, they may start to see that these conflicts are a direct reflection of an internal vibration of resentment or emotional neediness. Similarly, someone who's stuck in a cycle of financial struggles may be projecting a frequency of scarcity, fear, or lack of self-worth. The external reflection is not a punishment. It's a precise indicator of what's being sustained internally. Why does the reflection not change? The cycle of vibrational repetition. The feeling of being trapped in an endless cycle of repetition is something many people experience without understanding the deeper cause. Why do certain situations seem to repeat endlessly? Why doesn't the reflection change, even when you're striving to transform reality? The answer lies in the vibrational nature of what you're projecting. The quantum mirror doesn't respond to physical effort or attempts to manipulate external circumstances. It only responds to the dominant frequency you're emitting. Imagine reality as a constantly moving vibrational field, but it only reflects what is being sustained internally. If your vibration is composed of fear, insecurity, or lack, the quantum mirror will inevitably reflect situations that correspond to these emotional states. And that's precisely where the cycle of vibrational repetition sets in. Even if you desire external change, if the internal frequency remains the same, the reflection will remain unchanged. Reality merely repeats what you are energetically sustaining. It's like an echo in a deep valley. If you shout scarcity, the echo returns scarcity. If you shout, "I'm not good enough," the echo returns, "I'm not good enough." And so, the cycle perpetuates. But why is it so difficult to break this pattern? The answer lies in the subconscious mind. It operates in a vibrational loop based on deeply rooted beliefs and emotions. And as long as these beliefs go unrecognized and untransformed, the reflection will continue to reproduce the same image. Another crucial point is the emotional attachment to the old reflection. Often people are so identified with their current reality, even if it's unsatisfactory, that they end up sustaining the same vibration without realizing it. The fear of change, the resistance to the unknown, and the unconscious belief that this is all I deserve are factors that feed the cycle of vibrational repetition. And as long as these vibrations are maintained, the quantum mirror will keep reflecting the same image. To break this cycle, it is essential to understand that the reflection won't change as long as the vibration that sustains it remains intact. The attempt to act solely on the physical plane without altering the internal frequency is like trying to change the reflection in the mirror without changing the expression on your face. The reflected image may appear different for a brief moment, but it soon returns to its original configuration because the vibration that projected it was not adjusted. Therefore, the key to breaking the cycle of vibrational repetition is to identify the frequencies that are being continuously emitted. It's necessary to observe the emotional patterns that have been normalized over time and are keeping the same vibration in place. Ask yourself, what is the dominant frequency I am sustaining? What is the emotion or belief I am perpetuating without realizing it? These questions are fundamental to uncovering the root of the repetitive cycle. Another important point is the energy of effort. Many people believe that constant effort and intense struggle are the paths to change. However, in the quantum field, effort without vibrational alignment is merely a waste of energy. It's like trying to push a solid wall. The wall doesn't move, but you become exhausted. The quantum mirror does not respond to struggle, but to the dominant frequency. And as long as that frequency remains unchanged, the reflection will continue to be the same. Understanding the cycle of vibrational repetition is not an invitation to despair, but a powerful opportunity for transformation. When you recognize that reality is only reflecting what you're sustaining internally, you regain the power to adjust the reflection. It's not the external world that needs to change, it's the internal vibration that needs to be readjusted. And this is exactly where the Mirror Principle 2.0 offers a practical, conscious approach to breaking the cycle and starting to project a new reflection. Because the quantum mirror never resists change. It's simply waiting for you to adjust the frequency you're emitting. The technique to rewrite the reflection, how to adjust the internal vibration. If reality is a vibrational reflection of what we're projecting internally, then the most powerful way to transform it is by adjusting the frequency we're emitting. But how can we do this practically and intentionally? This is where the technique for rewriting the reflection comes in. The technique doesn't involve physical effort or attempts to manipulate the external world. It operates directly at the source, the internal vibration that is sustaining the quantum reflection. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. This mirror is not made of glass, but of pure vibrational energy. It reflects not just your physical image, but also your emotional, mental, and spiritual energy. The first step of this technique is to observe the current reflection without judgment. Close your eyes and visualize this energetic mirror before you. What is it projecting? How do you feel as you look into it? Is there tension, fear, anxiety, or scarcity? This step is crucial because it's impossible to rewrite a reflection without first identifying what's being projected. Now imagine that this mirror begins to distort, like water in motion. The reflected image becomes fluid, changeable, as if it's in a state of transition. This distortion represents the moment when the energy is being reprogrammed. At this moment, you have the chance to choose a new frequency. What is the new vibration you want to project? Confidence, peace, abundance, love? Feel this new frequency taking shape. It's not just a thought, but a deep sensation that begins to expand from your heart, radiating throughout your entire energetic field. As the vibration expands, observe how the mirror begins to stabilize. The image that once reflected fear or scarcity now starts to project a new reflection, the new vibration you're intentionally sustaining. This stabilization process is essential because the quantum field responds not just to a fleeting intention, but to the frequency that is consistently maintained. At this point, the mind may begin to question, but what if the reflection doesn't change immediately? What if nothing happens? This is the moment when the practice of the technique becomes most powerful. Because the quantum reflection doesn't follow the laws of linear time. It responds to the dominant frequency, not to physical effort or immediate expectations. Therefore, it is essential to keep the new vibration active, even if the external reflection still appears the same. This is the test of vibrational alignment, sustaining the new frequency without attaching to how it must manifest. Another important aspect of this technique is repetition. Just like a musician practices the same note until it becomes automatic, you need to practice vibrational reprogramming until the new frequency becomes your dominant projection. Each time you practice, the quantum mirror responds, adjusting the reflection according to the new vibration you're emitting. The technique for rewriting the reflection is not a process of control or manipulation of the external reality. It's a process of internal alignment, a conscious adjustment of the frequency being sustained. And the more you practice, the more the quantum mirror begins to reflect the new vibration, creating a noticeable shift in your external reality. The power of this technique lies in its simplicity. It's not about trying to force the reflection to change, but about allowing the new vibration to stabilize until the quantum field has no choice but to reflect the new state. And thus the reflection ceases to be an automatic projection of the past and becomes an intentional creation of your new self. The impact of the new vibration on the quantum mirror. How the reflection begins to change. When you consciously begin to adjust your internal vibration, the quantum field responds in a precise and inevitable way. At first, the change may seem subtle, almost imperceptible, but signs begin to emerge, revealing that the quantum mirror is in the process of reorganizing. It's important to understand that the reflection doesn't change instantly or linearly. The physical reality is dense and responds gradually to the new frequency you're sustaining. However, even before major transformations occur, small signs start to appear, indicating that the field is being reprogrammed. The first impact of the new vibration is the perception of synchronicities. Seemingly random things begin to align in unusual ways. You think of someone, and that person calls. A book you needed appears unexpectedly. An opportunity that seemed distant suddenly arises. These events are not mere coincidences. They are echoes of the new frequency you're emitting, signs that the quantum field is beginning to reorganize the reflection according to the adjusted vibration. Another clear sign that the quantum mirror is responding to the new vibration is the change in how people start interacting with you. If before you attracted conflicts, criticism, or indifference, now people seem more open, receptive, or even curious about your presence. This occurs because the internal frequency is emitting a new vibrational message, and the surrounding field responds to that message immediately. People are simply energetic mirrors, reflecting the new vibration you're sustaining. However, it's important to pay attention to a crucial point. The quantum field does not respond only to the conscious vibration, but to the dominant vibration. This means that if you start to adjust your frequency, but still carry remnants of the old vibration, fear, insecurity, scarcity, the reflection may fluctuate between the old and the new image. It's like a radio tuning between two stations. That's why it's essential to continue practicing the technique of rewriting the reflection until the new vibration fully stabilizes. Another aspect to consider is the emergence of seemingly unexpected challenges or setbacks. Many people interpret these events as signs that the technique isn't working or that the change isn't happening. But in reality, these challenges are just remnants of the old vibration being released. The quantum field is adjusting, and in the process, certain old situations may surface to be finally redefined. It's a sign that the mirror is being reprogrammed and that the old frequency is being dissolved. This is the crucial moment when many people give up or revert to the old vibration, thinking that nothing is changing. But in reality, it is precisely at this point that the new reflection is about to emerge more clearly and stably. Persisting in the new vibration, even in the face of challenges, is the key to ensuring that the quantum field continues to reorganize the reflection according to the new frequency. Finally, as the new vibration stabilizes, the external reality begins to reflect this change more evidently and tangibly. Opportunities that once seemed distant start to manifest effortlessly. The right people begin to appear. Paths that once felt blocked start to open. Life begins to flow at a new rhythm, aligned with the frequency you have intentionally chosen to sustain. At this stage, the quantum mirror ceases to be a random reflection and becomes an intentional projection of the new vibration you're emitting. This is the true impact of vibrational rewriting. The ability to mold the reflection, not just as a passive observer, but as a conscious creator who understands that the quantum mirror does not resist change. It only reflects. And when the new vibration becomes dominant, the reflection inevitably aligns with your new version, manifesting a reality that once seemed impossible but is now the natural reflection of the frequency you are sustaining. Maintaining the new reflection, avoiding falling back into the old vibration, adjusting the internal vibration and starting to rewrite the quantum reflection is a powerful step. But the real challenge arises after the initial shift. It is in this phase that many people, without realizing it, end up reverting to the old vibration. The mind, accustomed to old patterns, tends to seek the familiar, even if that familiar is filled with scarcity, fear, or insecurity. Therefore, maintaining the new vibration requires attention, intention, and constant practice. When the new frequency begins to stabilize, it is common for the external reality to still present remnants of the old projection. People who represent old patterns may reappear. Situations you thought you had already overcome may resurface. But this doesn't mean the technique isn't working. In fact, it is precisely at this point that the quantum field is testing your vibrational consistency. It is asking, have you really changed, or are you just trying to convince yourself that you've changed? The subconscious mind, in turn, acts as a guardian of old patterns. It functions as a protection system, trying to keep you in a state of familiarity, even if that state is no longer aligned with your new intention. And without realizing it, many people end up falling back into the old vibration, succumbing to familiar emotions of doubt, insecurity, or frustration. It's as if the quantum mirror starts to project the new image, but the mind insists on returning to the old reflection, creating a vibrational conflict. To avoid falling back into the old vibration, it is essential to develop a constant practice of self-observation. In every interaction, thought, or emotion, ask yourself, am I responding from the new version I am creating, or from the old version I am trying to overcome? This simple question can act as an internal alert, bringing you back to a state of presence and preventing the subconscious mind from taking control. Another crucial point is maintaining the daily practice of vibrational adjustment. The technique of rewriting the reflection should not be a one-time event, but a continuous process. Even if the external reflection hasn't completely changed yet, keep sustaining the new frequency firmly. Repetition is what ensures that the quantum field recognizes the new vibration as dominant, transforming the old reflection into an updated one. However, there is a subtle but essential point: avoiding the trap of expectation. When the mind is constantly checking to see if the reflection has changed, it generates an energy of anxiety, doubt, and control, precisely the vibrations that were sustaining the previous reflection. The new frequency does not stabilize in a field of control, but in a field of trust. Trust that the quantum mirror is already in the process of adjustment, even if the initial signs are subtle or imperceptible. Furthermore, it is important to understand that maintaining the new vibration does not mean ignoring challenges or suppressing emotions. If old emotions surface, observe them without resistance. Acknowledge them, feel them, and then consciously choose the new vibration. This process of conscious observation prevents the subconscious mind from regaining control and reestablishing the old reflection. Finally, practice gratitude for the new vibration, even before it manifests concretely in the external reflection. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational states and creates a magnetic field that sustains the new frequency more stably. By expressing gratitude for the updated reflection, you are affirming to the quantum field that the new vibration is already your reality, reinforcing the projection and ensuring that the new image becomes dominant. Maintaining the new reflection is a process that requires vibrational discipline. The mind may try to revert to the old, but the conscious observer knows that the quantum mirror only responds to the dominant frequency. And by keeping the new vibration active, even in the face of apparent external contradictions, you are solidifying a new reflection, one that not only reflects the new self, but becomes the predominant projection of your reality. The power of conscious observation, creating an intentional reflection. Conscious observation is the key to intentionally shaping reality. When you start to observe what you are projecting instead of simply reacting to circumstances, you take control of vibrational creation. But what does it mean in practice to observe consciously? It means stepping out of the automatic state and entering a state of total presence, where every thought, emotion, and reaction is seen as part of a reflection you are projecting onto the quantum mirror. Often, people believe they are being conscious observers, but in reality, they are merely reacting to circumstances without noticing the connection between what they are emitting and what they are receiving. Conscious observation is a heightened state of perception where you become not only the observer of external events, but also the observer of your own mind. Instead of simply reacting to situations, you begin to ask, what was I vibrating before this happened? What was my emotional state? What were my dominant thoughts? This process is powerful because it reveals hidden patterns. Perhaps you are trying to attract more abundance, but notice that internally, you are vibrating at the frequency of lack. Or maybe you're seeking harmonious relationships, but upon observing your emotions, you realize you are emanating insecurity or distrust. Conscious observation is like a vibrational X-ray. It reveals the true frequency being projected, regardless of words or conscious intentions. Another important layer of conscious observation is noticing how you're reacting to the current reflection. When reality presents a challenge, how do you respond? With resistance, frustration, or acceptance? The way you react reveals the dominant frequency you are sustaining. And as long as the reaction is guided by the old vibration, the reflection will remain the same. That's why conscious observation is not a passive act. It is an act of intentional creation. Imagine that you are standing before a quantum mirror that reflects not only your physical image, but also your internal vibration. If you want to create a new reflection, you need to observe what is being projected without judgment, but with total honesty. This vibrational honesty is the starting point for change. Instead of trying to force a new reflection without understanding the current one, you first identify what is being emitted. Only then can you intentionally choose the new vibration you wish to sustain. The practice of conscious observation also involves self-awareness in everyday moments. When you're talking to someone, how do you feel? Are you emanating confidence or insecurity? Are you projecting joy or anxiety? Every interaction is a vibrational mirror and offers immediate feedback about the frequency you're sustaining. This constant awareness is what differentiates the unconscious observer from the conscious creator. However, there is a subtle but powerful detail. Conscious observation is not a process of control or judgment. It is not about trying to suppress emotions or force positive thoughts. It is a process of recognition, being fully present to what is being emitted without resistance or denial. Because only by acknowledging the current frequency can you consciously choose the new vibration you wish to project. When creating an intentional reflection, you are not trying to manipulate the external reality. Instead, you are adjusting the internal vibrational field, knowing that the quantum mirror will naturally and inevitably respond. And the more you practice conscious observation, the easier it becomes to identify the subtleties of the vibration you are emitting. Small emotional fluctuations, recurring thoughts, and unconscious beliefs begin to surface, revealing the adjustment points that need to be made for the reflection to align with your new intention. The power of conscious observation lies precisely in this, in the ability to perceive what is being projected without identifying with the reflection. You are not the image in the mirror. You are the creator of the image. And by mastering this state of presence, you become a conscious projector, intentionally adjusting the vibration and creating a reflection that finally aligns with the reality you wish to manifest. We have reached the end of our journey, and now you know that the mirror of reality never lies. It only reflects the vibration you are sustaining. The mirror principle. 2.0 has shown that true transformation doesn't occur when we try to forcibly change the reflection, but when we adjust the internal frequency. From now on, every time you look at your reality, ask yourself, what am I projecting at this moment? Remember, the quantum mirror is malleable and responds to the dominant vibration. Practice the technique of rewriting the reflection. Stay attentive to your frequency and observe the signs of the field reorganizing. And to affirm that you've made it this far, write in the comments, I am the creator of my reflection. This way, you reaffirm your commitment to this new vibration and begin projecting it onto the quantum field right now.